So as the last step in mixing this project, I want to do a bit of homemade mastering just to bring things up to a commercial level, compress it a bit, EQ it a tiny bit, make things a little wider. And FabFilter provides everything I need for that. The saturation, the limiting, the compression, the EQ, of course, you've seen that. And we're going to see how far I can get the track with them. So let's first start at the master. All I've done so far is use a gaining plugin to keep things from peaking, and I'm going to keep it there. First thing I want to do is roll off a bit of the low end of the track, because there's always stuff in the lowest regions that you really don't need. Nobody's going to hear it. Nobody's going to miss it if you take it out. So I'm going to just, let's see, maybe use the loudest part of the track. And there's always stuff around here that you really don't need. You see, this is 50 Hertz. Maybe you want to roll off a bit until, what, let's say 25 Hertz or so. You can see that the rest of the track looks pretty balanced. See, there's no real weird holes or peaks in the spectrum. It's almost a straight line, actually. The great thing about pretty much every FabFilter plugin is that it can do MS. MS stands for mid-side, not mono stereo, mid-side, meaning that the mid part of a track, of a recording, is the stuff that is in the middle, and the sides of a recording is the stuff on the sides. So mono and stereo are actually technically different things. And using the Pro Q in mid-side, I can actually create a band like this, a high shelf, and go over here. This is the window where you want to select side for this band alone. So all I'm doing now is boosting everything that's on the side, so nothing in the middle. In other words, things are going to sound wider in this frequency area. You never want to go overboard with this. This is already 3 dB. So I'm going to create another band somewhere in the middle. Also make it work only on the sides of the track. And widen the Q tiny bit. So now the curve is a little different from the shelf alone. Yeah. Sounds a bit wider, nice. Like I said, almost all of the FabFilter plugins can do this. And this can be a really powerful trick to use in your mixing. In this case, I'm only using it for the mastering. But let's say, what if I only want to take out the lows in the mid section? That's very easy. Just select the low cut, and so now only the stuff in the middle is being low cut. That means I can go a bit further than 25 Hertz, maybe 35, 36 Hertz. Let me grab a Pro C2 and I'll select the mastering style, and I want to really gently compress it just a bit, just the peaks. And why would you want to do compression in mastering? Well, normally I even have a compressor on my master during the mixing. I left that out for this course. I wanted to keep that for last. But you can imagine how compressing the peaks of a master can make it easier later on to bring things up to level with a limiter, because the peaks are already controlled, so the limiter doesn't have to work that hard. But usually I do about 2.5 dBs of compression on my master. I'm only doing 1 to 1.5 right now, because I don't think it needs more than that. The track sounds balanced enough as it is, and it has a nice natural pump to it because of the sounds that I chose and also the groove that it has. So let's see if I compress it a bit more. So now the compression is at a point where also the piano is actually tucked into the mix a bit, which is what I wanted, but because I originally mixed this with a compressor on the master, it sounded a bit too loud just a moment ago. But this is kind of nice. So let's keep that and check out what we can do with a bit of saturation in the next video.